My top 20 authors as of now. What do I enjoy the most? These top 20 authors. I actually ranked them this time. So we're going to go 20th to 1st. Stick around. Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. As I mentioned, we're going to go through my top 20 authors as of now. I actually put the thought together to rank these. I'm actually surprised I have 20 authors, but I am branching out into new authors thanks to doing YouTube and getting recommendations from you all. And so I have put together, thoughtfully ranked my favorite 20 authors as of right now. And so we're going to go roll through this. If you want to speed this up, you can. This is not my first take, so I'm going to try to be very succinct here and not give you a lot here because this could be very long. But at the same time, if you also would like to make some predictions, you can do so below. I mean, you know King is going to be on this list, but where? Let's get right into this. So at number 20, and I've already got the books freaking out of order. At number 20, we've got Michael Connelly. You know, I've read 2 Harry Bosch books, both been great. He is a fantastic author. At number 19, Blake Crouch. Sci-fi thriller, science fiction, really gets into the science, but not to the point where you're going to be inundated. He's like the little son of Michael Crichton, who may or may not be on this list. But I really enjoy him. I read everything except Abandon from him, and I'm going to read Abandon. I just haven't got around to it yet, but I really enjoy him. Really great books. Dark Matter, Recursion, Upgrade, the last kind of 3 books, really good. But he has some, the Wayward Pines trilogy is good. He has some one-off books that are really good thrillers, quick reads. You'd have to check out Crouch. At number 18, David Baldacci. I mean, I started reading him in my late 20s, early 30s. I really enjoyed him. I took a break because I tried out some new authors, and I took a break from reading for probably a good 8 or 9 years. But I really enjoy Baldacci, his thrillers, his writing. It can be bloated at times, but he does write some really good books. Obviously, lately, Logan and I have been reading the 620 Man series and doing kind of our dumpster fire reviews on those. But yeah, really interesting characters, really quick books. I enjoy David Baldacci. And number 17, Ken Follett. Writes some thrillers, mainly writes historical fiction, well known for his Pillars of the Earth and his Kingsbridge series, as well as his Century trilogies. I have all those books up there. I always am on the lookout to maybe just get into a Ken Follett book, so I've got a lot of his books in my shelves. I've read a couple of his books multiple times. I definitely want to read some of those big tomes from him, and he's definitely on my list, and I really enjoy his writing. At number 16, you knew this guy was going to be on the list. You probably wondered if he was going to be this quick, or maybe he would be in the top 10 or 5. But John Grisham. I love thrillers. There are a lot of them on this list. Grisham is one of those thriller writers. You know, his legal thrillers are good. Some of his, because it's not heavily legal, it's more around the characters and the premise and everything else. And I just enjoy the plotting and pace of his books. His writing style is matter of fact. I can appreciate that. I don't like it when authors get too kind of cute with the words or try to be too poetic. I just want matter of fact writing. I want to know what I'm reading. I want it to make relatable to me. You don't have to use cute words. It doesn't matter to me. But Grisham's one of those that I really enjoy. At number 15, the only female on this list. I don't know why I said that, but it is true. J.K. Rowling. I read the Harry Potter series last year, flew through it, enjoyed all of those books. My first 5-star was The Goblet of Fire. I don't know why I took so long to read that YA fantasy series, but man, it was good. Rowling's writing's good. I know she writes other books as well, has a detective series, I believe, and I haven't checked that out yet, but I definitely will in the future. Rowling's a great writer, so I enjoy her books. At number 14, Robert Krass. I read Hostage. It was great. I read 2 Minute Rule, which was also good. This is Demolition Angel. I haven't read it yet, but Kraus is another one of those authors that I like having on the shelf because I can pick him up and know it's going to be all gas, no break, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I can rip through one of these in a day or two and enjoy it. It's just fun. I wouldn't call it beach reading. I think it's just more enjoyable reading. I think if you're ever in a slump, you can grab a Kraus or a Krass book and just rip through it. I mean, it's just that good. So, at number 13, this might be a surprise, and that's probably not the only time I say this, but Lee Child. Yes, the later entries from his brother Andrew, I have not been very enamored by, but the early books are really good. Obviously, season 3 on Prime's coming out next month, or this month, depending on when I launch this, but yeah, you definitely want to check out Lee Child's earlier entries in the Reacher series. His writing's good. They're quick reads. They're fun. Reacher's just such a good character, and I enjoy Child's writing. At the number 12 spot, Michael Crichton. Yeah, he's got a sentimental place for me, definitely, because Jurassic Park was one of the books that got me into reading. But Crichton's books are really good. I haven't read all of his Librarian, but I read a majority of it. I just like his writing style. He's definitely one of those writers like he was gone too soon. But I will say this, I like the sci-fi thriller aspect, the blending of genres, and Crichton does it really, really well. Where Crouch, his plots can be a little, I think Crichton can be a little better plotting. I think they both kind of hit it on the head when it comes to pace. But yeah, Crichton's just is better than Crouch, where Crouch is maybe the son of sci-fi thriller. Crichton's like the Godfather. So at number 11, Tolkien. I mean, he's got to be on this list. I mean, when you got an author who has a world and he has notes that are published, he has sub books and more study companions like the Similarian, but yet it has tales that people just flock to the stores to buy. That just tells you how good his books are. Yes, The Hobbit's great. Lord of the Rings is fantastic. It's one of the all-time favorites. It has so much staying power, even decades after his passing, and when he wrote it. But Tolkien's just a really good writer in general. Some of his books that have been coming out is standalone stuff with, his take on Beowulf. I mean, he is really, really good, and you should definitely check him out. And so now that we are in the top 10, I wonder if you can guess where this is going to shake out. Feel free to stop now and drop a comment and see where this may or may not shake out for you all. But this is my top 10. At number 10, Jeffrey Deaver. Shocked? I read Deaver decades ago. I read several of the Lincoln Rhyme novels. I read a couple standalones. I really liked some of his short story in that collection, Twisted. Yeah, really like it. Deaver can write, and it shows. And I really enjoy his prose and his pace. I really enjoy his character development. He's everything that I look for in an author. Definitely someone, if I get into a slump as well, I'll pick up a Deaver book and I get right back into consistently reading and being happy about it. So definitely should check out Jeffrey Deaver. Number 9. Something I'm new to as well, but man, it's definitely worth its spot on the top 10. Ed McBain. I read 2 87th Precinct novels now. I've read 87th Precinct novella. And Ed McBain's writing is everything that I want it to be when it comes to an author. I mean, it's to the point. There's no wasted words. Everything has a purpose. It's hard. It's boiled down. It's that pulpy noir writing that is so good. I will be reading McBain for years to come. I really will. He's that good. At the number 8 spot, an author that I picked up and started reading for the first time last year, Louis L'Amour. Yeah. I got into Westerns, started reading some Louis L'Amour, and I was like, why did I wait so long? His writing is good. I know some people feel like, hey, some of his books become kind of similar throughout his librarium. I understand that, but they're quick reads. His short stories are really good. The Sackett series has been really good. Some of the books have been not as good as others, but you don't really get a bad book when it comes to L'Amour, and that just says something about him as an author. And so I really enjoy L'Amour. I really kind of I'm glad that his books are easily accessible from where I am in used bookstores and usually on the cheap end, but I don't understand why. But yeah, you should check out Louis L'Amour. At the number 7 spot, Stephen King. Yes, I'm a fanboy. I've read everything from King. But definitely, if I would have done this list 2 years ago, King would probably have been my number one pick. But as you can tell, I've gotten colder on him. And some of his recent books, Holly was an absolute travesty. Ingratiating his politics into some of his books just really turned me off. But my tastes have diversified. And as I branch out to other authors, some of them I still haven't mentioned yet, King definitely has fallen. And that's okay. Again, if I do this a year from now, some of these people might not even be on the list. Some of them might have moved up. Some of them might have moved down. It's just, that's the beauty of these lists. They're so individual, and it's a snap in time of where you're at. Some of these people have staying power that are on this list. Some don't, and that's okay as well. But King, I'm slowly cooling on, and some of his older stuff is still good. It'll stand the test of time. But overall, as an author, I'm cooling on King. So, but yeah, number 7, Stephen King. Number 6, John Sandford. I read through everything that is Davenport related, Prey series related, Letty Davenport books. I'm going to make my way through the Virgil Flower books, and then I'll be caught up on Sandford, that whole kind of universe there in Minneapolis. But I really love Sandford's writing. I love his characters. I love the whole kind of, dimension, the family dimension with the Davenports and then the side characters. I just really like him. And it's fun reading. You definitely get different premises, and some of it can be a little disturbing at times, but it's just good stuff, and you definitely should check it out. John Sandford, number 6. Number 5, Ken Liu. I think specifically the 2 short story collections are the greatest entry point you can with Ken Liu. You definitely get a sense for his writing abilities. The Dandelion Dynasty, which I'm on book 4 now, the last book, it's something to behold. It's different than most fantasy, so it's hard for me yet to recommend it openly and just laissez-faire. But the short story collections, the Paper Menagerie, The Hidden Girl and Other Stories, you definitely should check those out. His writing is really, really good. And I really just enjoy how he does it. He mixes plot, pace, characters very well. I think his ideas and premise are out there, and I think it makes for really worthwhile reading. So you should definitely check out Ken Liu. At the number 4 spot, Lawrence Block. I'm just a sucker for this old school 50s, 60s, 70s hard writing, this boiled down pulpish noir writing. Now, I will preface and say, if I had entered Block, my reading of Block a different way, I entered it through the Hitman series, then I merged and went over to the Matthew Scudder series, then I started reading some Bernie Rodenbauer burglar books, but I'm going to read back through them on the channel. And then I read a couple hard case crimes. But if I would have read some of his more spicy erotica stuff that he started with, and then tried to get into some of these series, I think I wouldn't have liked him, and he wouldn't have been on this list, because it was going at those entry points that really just solidified that he's really good. And there's a lot that he writes that's really good, but there's also other stuff that he writes that just not my cup of tea. So I'm glad I did what I did when it came to Block. But he is number 4, Lawrence Block. Number 3, I hope this isn't a surprise, but Robert E. Howard. I got a lot of people to think about that, but yeah, reading the Conan books, getting really into those. Howard's writing is everything you want it to be. It really is. It's poetic, world building, character development. It's just matter of fact. It just rolls through. There's not a lot of fluff. It all makes sense. Some of it doesn't, but it doesn't matter. It's just really good. Really, really good. Yeah, I cannot wait to get to Solomon Kane tales. I'm going to review those on the channel as well when I get done with some of the Conan. You definitely should buy the Del Reys off of Amazon. That's my own recommendation. People are like, hey, yeah, I need to check it out. I can't find them. If you try to find the individual Conan novels, that in the old paperbacks, more likely the conditions are going to be bad and they're going to be selling for way too much. But yeah, these are like $15 or $16 on Amazon, and they're brand new and they contain everything plus notes and author stuff. They're so well worth the money. A couple of used stores next to me, they try to sell those old paperbacks, and I've looked at them, but I can't spend the $8 or $10 on a beaten up and yellow paperback when I can spend $15 and get a brand new omnibus collection. It just doesn't make sense fiscally. So definitely you should check out, but Howard's writing's great. You definitely should check out. That's why he's number 3. So that leaves 2. I wonder if you can guess. Now, I will say, I could flip these either way. It doesn't really matter. If number 2 is number 1 or number 1 is number 2, it doesn't really matter to me. But I went with this based on the fact that number 1 I've read multiple times. Number 2 I've yet to read multiple times, but I'm going to. But number 2 is Joe Abercrombie. The First Law trilogy, the Age of Madness trilogy, the standalones, the Shattered Sea trilogy. He is the Lord of Grimdark, and he is very good. He is really good at plot. He's really good at characters. He's really good at battle scenes. He's really good at all those things. He's really good at politics and twists and turns and backstabbing, and he's good at all of that. And he's got some wit to him as well. And he's really good at it, and he's just consistent across the board. And because he's good at all those things, that's what makes him number 2 on the list. And at number 1, it shouldn't be a surprise to you, but that's Butcher, Dresden Files. I'm just going to level with you. When people talk about Dresden Files, a lot of the times they're like, yeah, if you can get through the first, 17 Dresden Files out there now, there's more coming. Most people were like, yeah, if you can get through the first 5 books, then it gets good. I don't like that, because I think the first 5 books are good. Do the books get better as the series goes? Absolutely. You get more races, the world expands more, you get more conflict, you get more bosses, there's more atmospheric, worlds. Everything evolves. The character conflicts, they get more dynamic. It's just way, way more. And yes, it gets better. It gets way, way better. But the first few books are really good. They're really good. And it really irks me when people are like, yeah, you got to get through the first 4 or 5 books. Now, I do say that to other people too. Stick with it. It's worth it. The payoff is huge. And it is. But Dresden Files, I've read it multiple times. Now, I will also say, I read these immersively. I listen to the James Marster. James Marsters does the Audible translations on these books. I have them all, and they are absolutely incredible. And you definitely should check those out if you have Audible. They are flipping good. I will listen to him and flip through the books. It's incredible. Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, my favorite. Butcher's my favorite author as of now. That's my list, my top 20. And again, it may change. I look forward to doing this again in about another year and seeing where people are at. Does King move up? Does he move back down even more? Is he on the list? Where's Connolly going to be? Where's McBain? It's just, we're going to see, the taste expand, and so I think these are really interesting. Again, if you want to say I'm off my rocker, comment below. But otherwise, I will talk to you all at the next one. Thanks.